Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Vice Mayor Jarman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer.
Yes, ma'am. Today's invocation is led by Pastor Trey Starnes with the Rock Church. Pastor, would everyone please stand as you are able?
Thank you. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather today as servants of this community, humbled by the responsibility placed before us. And we ask for your guidance as we deliberate on matters that will affect the lives of our neighbors and our friends and our families here in Panama City Beach. Grant us the wisdom to see beyond our own perspectives, the patience to truly hear one another, and the courage to act with integrity. Bless this assembly with clarity of thought and unity of purpose. May our discussions be honest, our disagreements respectful, and all decisions be just. We humbly ask for your blessings as we seek to discern and follow your will in all our deliberations. God, guide our hearts and minds that we might act according to your purpose and plan for our community. Remind us that though we may each walk different paths, we all share a common love for our beautiful coastal community that we all call home. Help us to be good stewards of both the natural resources you've blessed us with and the public trust. God, as we conduct the business of our town today, may we honor our past, address our present, and envision a future that benefits all who will live, work, and visit here. For your blessings, we are eternally grateful. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join Vice Mayor Jarman for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And moving on to community announcements. This Saturday, April 12th at 7:30 a.m. at the City Pier is the beach cleanup. Hope to see some folks out there. And then right after that, there's the dog Easter egg hunt at 10 a.m. At the Dog Beach. This Saturday and Sunday, April 12th and 13th, is the Panama City Swim Team Invitational Swim Meet at Frank Brown Aquatic Center. Next Saturday, the 19th, is the Spring Egg Extravaganza, Frank Brown Park. Then from Thursday, April 24th to Saturday, April 7th, is the Sea Breeze Jazz Festival at Aaron Besant. And finally, Thursday, April 24th at 9 a.m. here at City Hall is our next City Council meeting. Moving on to the approval of the minutes. Any motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Vice Mayor Jarman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer.
Yes, ma'am. Now we go to the approval of the agenda and additions or deletions.
Yes, sir. I'd like to add to the regular agenda a budget amendment for mutual aid for the police department.
For mutual aid for the police department?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Motion to approve as amended.
Do you want to add that as number 6?
We'll just add that as number 1, or as special. We'll just get it done first.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah. Motion to approve as that being amended as number 1 item.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Fazzoni?
Vice Mayor Jarman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer.
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to presentations. Vice Mayor.
Is Liam here? All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here this evening. Our first proclamation is designating April 13th through the 19th as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Panama City Beach. Whereas emergencies can occur, well, first of all, Tal, come on up here. Tabitha. Before I read the proclamation, so for those that don't know, Telecommunicators Week, this is our dispatchers for our police department, and they are really unsung heroes in this city. They do so much, and they put up with so much that we can't thank them enough for the work that they do. It is a tough job. I have watched sometimes what they do, and I have heard from the chief of what they go through, and thank you very much. All right. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, and/or emergency services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and the preservation of property. The safety of our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the PCB Police Department Communications Center and speak with the city's public safety telecommunicators. Whereas PCB dispatchers are the first and most critical contact our residents and visitors have with emergency services. These dispatchers are an essential link to our police officers by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them with vital information and ensuring their safety. PCB dispatchers continue to contribute significantly to the apprehension of criminals and to aid our residents and visitors. Now, therefore, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our residents, visitors, and our first responders safe, the Panama City Beach City Council declares the week of April 13th through 19th as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Again, thank you all very much.
You know, I have to say a couple things to just brag on my communication officers here. So put in perspective, roughly, probably a little over 10,000 phone calls a month, right? Right now, they're managing 10 different agencies, 100 police officers on the street, at the same time taking those phone calls, emergencies, medical, from just general public safety concerns to people crying, a tragedy, everything across the board. It's like they're just managing a symphony of chaos in the most professional and graceful way you could possibly imagine. They are literally the lifeblood of our agency. It starts and ends with them, and I cannot be more proud of every single one of you. So thank you.
Does everybody want to come up? There's a point. Greg says there's a point to it, so how many people you want up here? All right, come on. Take your time. Yeah, we can do it over here. How about this? We'll do it right here. First off, thank everyone for being here. All right. A proclamation designating the month of April as Parkinson's Awareness Month in Panama City Beach. Whereas Parkinson's disease is a chronic, progressive neurological disease and the fastest growing neurodegenerative disease in the United States. An estimated 68,000 Floridians and 1.1 million Americans, including 3,000 in Bay and Walton counties, are affected with over 90,000 new cases diagnosed annually. Parkinson's disease is the 14th leading cause of death in the United States, according to the CDC, with no known cure or treatment to slow its progression. Researchers continue to study genetic and environmental factors as potential causes, though the exact origin remains unknown. Parkinson's disease has no FDA-approved biomarker, cure, or treatment to slow or halt its progression. Volunteers, researchers, caregivers, medical professionals, and community support groups, such as the 3085 Thrive and Margaritaville support groups in Panama City Beach, are dedicated to improving the quality of life of persons living with Parkinson's disease and their families. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Panama City Beach recognizes April 2025 as Parkinson's Awareness Month in the city and invites residents and businesses of Panama City Beach to help bring awareness to this terrible disease. Mr. Richard, thank you for being here, and thank you for allowing us to do this today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I would also like to give, this is a bowl that we use. I have a friend who makes these, hand makes these, and we call them our victory bowls because we don't have a disease, we're just busy shaking. And so I'd like that to be a little keepsake.
Thank you.
I think it's important for people to understand for 4 years now, we've been getting this proclamation. To my knowledge, that's the longest string of any city in Florida. And to give you an idea of how frequently this is occurring, since we've been here, 2 people have been diagnosed with Parkinson's somewhere in the state of Florida. Statistics say that $52 billion are spent on medical, Social Security, and caregiver loss. I know that I speak for myself. If I didn't have my caregiver, and you see all these caregivers here, you're the true heroes of this because, yeah, let's give them a round of applause. Because anybody who puts up with us has got to be completely whacked. Just kidding, I'd probably cut that out. So on behalf of all of the support groups, 3085 Thrive, our Margaritaville, we have a third one that we're just getting started in Fort Joe. And we have a couple people from the industry here joining us. So we're starting to get some traction. We want to keep working with the city of Panama City Beach so that eventually that becomes a major marketing ploy because you're sure going to have a lot of people with the disease. Thank you, sir. Thanks. Appreciate it. Our pleasure. All right.
Our final presentation is by Andrew Starr, Vice President, Chief Health Operations Officer at Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. Andrew, thanks for coming.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you so much for having me back. I appreciate it and appreciate the time here to hopefully give a really positive update on where we're at with our hospital and our medical campus. So really just the agenda I'm just going to cover is just an update on our master program schedule, where we're at with our timeline, what we've had in terms of recent accomplishments, our existing priorities, upcoming milestones. I also really want to show you some of the images that have happened over the last few months and how much progress has been made. I also want to update you on recruitment. I've been back here previously and I talked about bringing physicians into this community. I think you'll be very pleased with some of the updates that we have. I also want to give some evidence of the updates that we've had with regards to some of the volumes we've had with even just some of our initial clinics and things going on along the lines in the community. So in front of you is our master project timeline for the entire hospital campus. Significant activity has occurred in the past 120 days. Key things that have been worked on: foundation and structure. We're really very much on time, let alone a few weeks ahead of schedule in terms of the amount of groundwork that's been done. And actually, we've started the cement work on the foundation, which is unbelievable for the pace that we've been keeping. Our GMP target is moving accordingly with an August date on that. There's no reason to believe we won't accomplish that. Our construction is still very much on schedule in terms of being completed by June of 27 and then going through the necessary channels to be operational in the fall of 27. And then our first patient, the slide says December 2027. I'm hoping it'll be a few months earlier. So as you can tell, based on the project timeline, we've made significant dent in a short amount of time. When you think about the recent accomplishments since the last time we've been back, we have completed all our design development. We've received a necessary ACA approval on our early release from the structure. That usually is a cumbersome process. In reality, for us, it was smooth as can be. We have had great support from the state, the local communities, and I can absolutely guarantee you we've had unbelievable support from all of you and the members of this community. We are really appreciative of that. And that shows through our city building permit and our partnership with all the agencies here. And our site work progression, I will tell you a lot has been done. When I think about the building pad, the retention pond is nearly done, the site utilities moving along. So we've made significant headway with the infrastructure, which, as you know, sets the tone for the entire campus for the next 100 years, because as that goes, the rest of our campus goes. Key things just for everybody to understand the amount of magnitude that's been done in a short amount of time. We have had almost 110,000 cubic yards of fill dirt imported into this campus. We are in the midst of our concrete, of which we're going to have 21,000 cubic yards. I asked, what does that mean? Because I'm not a construction expert. If we were to lay out the cement from our point here and did a straight line, it would end in Tallahassee. So inevitably, we'd have a yellow brick road to that campus. We're not going to do that. We're going to put the cement here. Linear feet piles have been all completed, almost 25,000 pounds of that, and nearly 4 million pounds of rebar have been done. So that is a lot of work in a short amount of time. In terms of other priorities as it affects the campus away from the construction, we have a new EMR that went live on March 1st for our entire campus. Why is that important? When you put in a new electronic medical record, there are always little hiccups and things that go along the way. That will be obviously worked on, and it will be a fine-tuned product when we go live with that when we open our hospital. That's mission critical because the EMR is something that all of us as patients have access to. You'll want that at your fingertips. The Epic system is very patient-friendly, and you'll enjoy using that as you were to choose to become a patient. We've talked about the medical office building being our first step into this community. Obviously, we completed that exercise in July of 2024. 81% of the building is booked in the context that we either have active clinics or we have clinics under construction. The remaining 19%, I can tell you at least 5 to 6% of it is nearly spoken for, and really we're talking about one piece of square footage that is left, and I will tell you we've made significant headway. 4 of the clinics are already operational along with our ambulatory surgery center. We expect 3 to 4 other clinics to be operational by the end of the calendar year. Why is that important? It means that as a step to building a hospital in your backyard, you will have primary care, urgent care, cardiology, pulmonology, orthopedics, dermatology, and countless other services all in one medical complex. I hear you loud and clear. It's coming. We're working on it. The timing of that was perfect. Thank you.
Didn't think you'd have hecklers at the hospital update, huh?
No, they're on point, and we have some good neurology partners here in the community, and we have some big plans in the future. So I'll leave the teaser out there for the audience. Other things that we're working on is with the multi-specialty clinic, where a lot of our practices have dedicated 5 days a week to this environment. There are other practices that want to explore Panama City Beach. They're not in a position to do that 5 days. We've thought about that. We've heard their interest. So versus waiting a year to 2 years, we're developing a clinic where a physician or a practice can come out a day or two a week in a shared environment, work, and get exposure to the community. What's that mean? It means instead of traveling somewhere to see patient care, it'll be here in our backyard. We're also working with some other services as we speak. Appalachia Behavioral Health, we're in the process of having conversations with about setting up tele-services and eventually an on-site service. And our vascular package as part of our cardiology enterprise, we expect to be live in the next 90 days. The other thing that we've done is working with Latitudes Margaritaville and their Fins Up Center. We've now dedicated an LPN there 20 hours a week. Her main role is to serve as a liaison and also to help take patients, do basic vitals, and also direct them to patient care, as to eliminate all the necessary red tape and challenges that come with moving to a new environment and trying to find health care that you need here versus going back to what might be a hometown, not yet Panama City Beach. Other things as we look ahead, when I initially put this slide in, they were actually just milestones, and to be honest, I wanted to be transparent. Some of these milestones have already been completed. The Vibro soil improvements have been done. As I indicated, our foundation is actually ahead of schedule. We've started the cement work. We will start going vertical as early as May if everything continues to hold water. We have spent a lot of time going horizontal. Now the fun start with potential work going vertical, and a lot more work being done with the next step of site utilities in terms of installation. So a lot of infrastructure work continuing to go, but instead of seeing dirt move, now we might start seeing cement and pillars up vertically. So a lot of good things there. I share with you all just pictures I like to take every month, because when you think about an 87-acre campus and what we're trying to do here, it is a significant change to the environment. As you can see, in November 2024, we had trees and dirt. In a matter of 2 months, we've already cleared road, brought in thousands and thousands of dirt, laying the foundation for our future hospital. And I don't just mean the 180-bed initial chassis. We're talking about the future of the 600-bed campus. This is an aerial picture in the March, and actually a lot of development has happened since then. You can see the size of the plot. I certainly welcome all of you and anybody else anytime they want to do a tour of the facility and actually put some boots on and walk the area. It is rather significant, and it is pretty large, the footprint that we're laying down. It is humongous, and will set the tone not just for when we open in the fall of 27, but really will set the tone for decades to come. So it's a lot of work. As we talked about recruitment, I was here before this council and I told you that our job is to bring physicians into the community. Moving physicians around and healthcare providers around doesn't do anything for access. It just changes zip code. We have made sure we have kept our commitment. I can absolutely guarantee you that in the summer of 2025, we'll be adding 2 more primary care physicians to our market. That's on top of the 2 primary care physicians that were there already, and an advanced practitioner we added 120 days ago. Those are all net new providers to this community and to that campus. In addition, I can share with you, we've had multiple conversations already with our hospitals group, our ED group, about bringing in new physicians, both to captain our new teams out here, and also as we work with our residencies. I'm also happy to tell you that we are making an offer to our first general surgeon, who will be part of our acute care general surgery team. That's the team that when you come into the OR and hypothetically, or the ER and hypothetically you have a blown appendix, these are the people that will be taking care of you immediately, take you up to the OR, and hopefully get you on your way the next day, assuming everything goes well. So we're beginning to build the foundation of our team. This is on top of a net new cardiologist, a net new pulmonologist, and all new net orthopedic surgeons and other surgeons and physicians that are coming into the area. Again, we are committed to not just working with the great physicians that are already in this community, but also bringing in new physicians to keep up with the demand that exists in this community right now. You have some great physicians here now. The challenge is, like every other community, getting more physicians so you don't have to wait that long. I'm going to close by I'm a big believer. I wouldn't be doing my job as an administrator if I didn't show you data and numbers. This is our urgent care. Our first real month of operation was August of 2024. Since that time, our urgent care volumes per month have grown by 358%. I expect that number to be closer to 500% the next time I come back here and to give you an update. What that means to this area, it means it's another access point for your citizens to realize immediate care without an appointment with well-trained professionals. And I will tell you, based on our ratings, which I take probably the most seriously at this point in our process, Google ratings, our urgent care, I would arguably say, is one of the best, if not the best in the area, based on the consumer reviews. So with that said, I want to say thank you again for the support we have gotten. Mr. Mayor, this council, we cannot thank you enough for the partnership. The government agencies that we work with here in Pan Am City Beach are bar none the best I have ever seen. And I don't mean just in Tallahassee, any place I've ever worked in my 25 years. We are grateful for your support, appreciate the opportunity to be here, and look forward to coming back, hopefully, if you'll have me down the road to give further updates. Do you all have any questions or anything I can answer for you?
Well, I think I speak for the entire council that we not only appreciate the additional jobs, but it's the additional health care, which means better outcomes and fewer trips out of town to get care. That means you're going to get the care here, the care you need, and you'll get it quickly.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, Will said, great presentation. Excited to have you guys be part of the community. It's a big investment. So
We're excited.
It's
transformative for our region, so thank you.
amazing progress on the construction project. You guys are ahead of schedule. You're doing a great job, and thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. Love to hear new doctors coming into the area.
Thank you very much. Honored and humbled for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay. We now move on to public comment on either the consent agenda or non-agenda business. Please come up, state your name. You have 3 minutes to address myself or the council as a whole.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Michael Stein-Kirchner. First off, I would like to echo what Chief Tao said with our dispatchers, as well as all the officers that we've had out there and fire service and mutual aid partners. I've personally called on those dispatchers for items, and what they do is without equal. So on that same note, obviously, part of the elephant in the room for a lot of Panama City Beach over the past couple of weeks has been spring break. I appreciate the council members that took the time to review the email that I had sent over to different department heads and things like that. I think, and I know there's people in this room that can attest, well-intentioned regulations that went into effect in 2015 have created a vacuum, and this is what has caused our problem. All of the indiscriminate hooligans that are coming here are taking advantage of that vacuum that's been created. Just like as one person here in the crowd can definitely attest, outlawing scooters did not change the problem, and that person had to entirely change their business model to accommodate that, with really no difference coming out. So, we have a lot of naysayers that say shut down the beach for 2 weeks, don't let anybody under the age of 35 on the island. Those are unrealistic and illegal. I appreciate Chief Tao using the most minimal efforts possible to keep these idiots, for lack of a better term, in control. My thought, we hold a festival for 2 weeks. We invite every first responder, military person they can into this town. We have events for them. We repurpose funds for events that have been funded for 10 years or more. There's no company or no entity that gets 10 years of startup money, except here. 2 members of this council sit on the TDC. They can lead the charge in repurposing those funds to rebrand PCB in the spring. And I guarantee if you put 30,000 door kickers on this beach, these hooligans are going to go somewhere else. So thank you for your consideration. I've spoken with several residential HOA, COA members. I was on the phone today with the organization that hosts the Firefighter Challenge. They would love to come to Panama City Beach and hold an event. So I just look forward to working with the council and any other community partners that would like to make this happen. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Stein-Kirchner.
I'm Karen Lott, and I'm behind Hope Circle, and I watch the news channel 7 all the time, and I didn't like it because they had shootings at Peel Park. I don't like it. I wish the policemen would patrol watch every move people makes. And I wish they would go to Peel Park and walk around Peel Park day and night and watch people. And I would like to see the police cars parked on the side of the road, watching people go up and down the street. That's what I want. And then I want them to patrol in the neighborhoods. They took that oath that they was going to protect all of us. They're not protecting us when they don't watch people. I want them to park the cars on the side of the road, watch people. Then I want them to walk around in Peel Park. Instead of having cameras up in Peel Park, I think it'd be better if the policemen walked all over Peel Park and parked their cars up and down the street and watch people go up and down the street. And then I'd like to see them patrol in everybody's neighborhood.
Thank you, Ms. Law. I appreciate the sentiment from the crowd, the clapping after everyone. Okay.
Sorry. My name's Colleen Chapman. I'm the owner of Outlaw Rentals. And there's been a lot of locals about a lot of different things that are going on, LSVs being one of them. I would like to reassure them that we have contracts that are signed. Those customers have driver's license, proof of insurance before they leave. The other part to that is they sign a waiver showing that what the rules and regulations are. They are told inside and outside they have to have car seats for the kids that are under 5. They are told all these things before they go. They can't ride on the shoulder. And we do it inside, we do it outside, and then we have them sign a brochure, one that they take with that has a map on the back of it. Now, we had new maps that were done by Pat Bunker, and we've started giving those out. And they actually show exactly what roads they can go on and what they can't, because the maps that I had on the back were not clear enough. So I do feel that we are trying to be proactive in that. So I know you guys haven't brought it up, but I wanted to bring it up for you so people know. And if locals have a problem, my phone number is on the Google. You can call my number. If I don't answer, you can leave a message. If you want to send me a tag number, I will get them off the road. So I have no problem with that. If I see other companies that are not my own, I will tell those companies' customers, I will stop them and I'll tell them, hey, you can't be on this road. So we are trying to be proactive. So please understand that you can contact me anytime and I'll be sure to stop them. If it's a slingshot, do that too. All I need is a tag number and we'll take care of that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Chapman. Further public comment on consent and/or non-agenda business.
Good evening, Scott Hellman, 137 Johnson Bayou Drive. Mayor, as a candidate, you promised you'd fight corruption. I just assumed you'd be fighting against it. For 3 months, I stood up here asking you how much money we were going to be spending on the water meter project. And instead of being transparent and acknowledging that you signed a single bid, $8.7 million proposal, you decided to lecture me about Robert's rules, and then you spoke into the public record that I personally have complaints about how these meetings are run. Mayor, I have no complaints about how these meetings are conducted. My complaint is not with the decorum here. My complaint is with your conduct. You lack transparency, you lack accountability, and quite frankly, I don't think you really care about the people on this beach. You don't care about our opinions. There's a gentleman who's, Mr. Starr, the last time he was here, you interrupted him when he was answering a question to the audience. There's a gentleman who's at this podium. You've had the police escort him out of this building. You interrupt people routinely at this podium. You've changed meeting times without giving proper notice. If you really cared about our opinions, why did you vote in favor of suppressing the voter turnout? You smeared my name in the record three meetings ago. 2 meetings ago, you denied me the opportunity to clear my name. In the last meeting, there was a gentleman who pointed out you weren't following the rules properly with adding an amendment, an agenda item. You acknowledged the rules, but you did whatever you wanted to do anyway. Does any of this sound corrupt to you? Because it does to me. And maybe it doesn't to you, but it does to me. And Mr. Whitman, is there a...
No, address...
All right. Mr. Whitman, my
Counsel to the
question,
mayor.
is tonight, is there a rule or is there a sunshine law that the mayor is exempt from following? Because you're not following the rules. You lectured me about not following Robert's rules, but you don't want to follow them. Robert's rule states that you are responsible as the chair to amend the record when a misspoken statement is made about somebody. I'm expecting you to follow those rules tonight. My complaint is not with the decorum or how these meetings are run. My complaint is with your conduct. And I'm expecting you to follow through with that tonight. This isn't the first time you attacked my character either, and the last time you did it was just because I didn't support you as a candidate. I think that's ridiculous that a public figure would attack a private citizen. That's not how I believe America should be run. Do you stand by this? This is your record. Will you say tonight that you're proud of your record? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hellman. Further public comment? This is on consent and non-agenda business. If you're here about the plat, that's coming up. That's coming up. Okay. Mr. Beck, could you get started?
Just a second. My name is Captain Gary Wayne Beck. I live at 2601 Beach Street. Folks, if you go and check public records with the Bay County Commission a long, long time ago, I looked at them as wholeheartedly as I could be and said, folks, I don't know if you know this or not, but I was taught to gather intelligence by the best. During the meantime, you know, we all know what's happened with the children and all the stuff that I get exposed to. Well, I had to hold my nose, and I dove just as far as I could, tracking the man that raped a child in front of me in this town, and is still bragging about it to this day. And I had the privilege of meeting with one of our upper echelons of the transgender bender community. During the meantime, his name is Cheeky, huh?
Sir, do not insult our staff.
Do what?
Do not insult our staff.
I'm not talking about your staff. You must be talking about him over there. I was talking about Cheeky. Cheeky's a transgender that runs around in this town and dances and stuff like that. He's got a, you know, he's well-to-do with all the gender benders, and he was kind of, if you remember that information I was telling you, I was gathering the intelligence, he was good enough to tell me when I went to his birthday party with old Dave Brown back in the day about how all the different people in the government is gender benders, you know, and we know a bunch of different ones. You know, all we have to do, you know, any man that thinks they're a woman, they're mentally disturbed. Anybody that'll rape a child needs to be hung, you know? And, you know, I've been subject to this torture in this town for a long time. And y'all, you've ripped me of every constitutional right I have. And I put my hand on a Bible and swore to uphold the Constitution and Bill of Rights. That's what everybody in this town seems to forget. The basis of the Constitution is on the Bill of Rights. I swore to uphold and defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Look at me, Mayor. You know? And then what are we doing? You know, I've got this code enforcement. I've got another inch of papers in my mailbox, and they're telling me they're coming to take my house again. And, you know, and it's a vicious circle. You know, we ain't got no servants anymore. We've got people that prey upon, our elected officials that prey upon the people, you know. And then when we got law enforcement that turns a blind eye to felonies against the people that's being committed because of what? The felonies that's being committed is done with the grace of our elected officials. Therefore, they turn a blind eye to easy felonies, you know, like the 1040 Oak Avenue when the guy was standing there with 2 pistols in his hand that he just stole from Red, you know, or Summer when she was stuck by a guy named Mike with a needle to get her addicted to meth. You know, we got that. And then when they told me I was going to have to buy methamphetamines, or not meth, acetaminophen to manufacture meth, you know, and they've told everybody that I was a meth dealer. They told everybody I was gay. This is all compliments of Dave Brown, who's in jail right now. Hopefully the lawyer that he's got, maybe she can help me with my case.
Thank you, Mr. Beck.
What are y'all going to do about it?
Thank you. Sit down. Further public comment?
Hello, Molly Allen. First of all, I want to say a very sincere thank you to Drew Whitman. I hope I can address you to say thank you. Drew is very responsive to the community, and I know he works really hard, and I get up here a lot and I heckle people occasionally, but I just want to say thank you very much for all you do, Drew. Also, I want to ask about one of the consent agenda items. If someone, when it comes up, could just explain the water redundancy and how that works. It sounds obvious, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding it. Also, again, I wouldn't be Molly Allen if I didn't stand up here and say that I oppose the outfall project. I'm going to keep my finger on the pulse. And I just want to say that I still think it's a mistake to send fresh water offshore into our Gulf waters. Then on a good note, the very last thing I'd like to say is the Little Pink Church is having its 75th anniversary on May 4th. Everyone is invited. We are going to have a remembrance service. We're going to do the service, reenact the service as it first was done. We've got one of the old bulletins from the first service, and it should be a pretty fun time. We're going to have cake, and we're going to have coffee and, like an open house. Also a walkthrough in time so you can see from when the groundwork was laid at the church over there. 75 years, again, let me remind you, it's older than the city of Panama City Beach. And so it's a pretty big deal, I think, when one of our community, I want to say businesses, but I would say establishments is that old. And so I'd like to just invite everybody out on May 4th. It should be at 9 a.m., so please come out and worship with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Further public comment? Hey, you good? All right. Seeing none, more public comment. Chief, if you would come up and address the comments on public safety, especially around Pier Park, having cars out and patrolling the neighborhoods.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Law's comments. Hey.
Mayor, Council.
Hey, further disruption? Any further disruption, you'll be asked to leave, sir.
Good evening. I'll address spring break. I just want to address a couple of things real quick, just sort of clear. First, I will use this public forum to say happy anniversary to my wife. 24 years of marriage. 22 of those years have been since I've been working here at the Beach Police, so 22 years of no anniversary dinners or no anniversary vacations. So trust me, nobody is more invested in trying to fix spring break than her, because she would like for me to do something with her on our actual anniversary date. So happy anniversary, babe. To the community, all the calls, messages, the handwritten notes, the food, especially the food. I usually lose weight on spring break, not this year. All of it it goes a long way, and it means a lot. And the community support that we have during these past few weeks, matter of fact, all year, is just amazing. It's true testament to our community. So to thank you, and the members of the community that are concerned, somewhat critical. Look, I get it. I understand it. I feel the frustration and anger just as much as everybody else. And, I could only say we're doing the best possible job that we possibly can. We have the best possible team that we possibly could have. Please be patient as we try to, as a community, try to fix this issue. To all the assisting law enforcement agencies that have come out during these past couple of weeks, I can't say thank you enough to all of them. They have worked tirelessly to keep this community safe. The citizens of Panama City Beach safe. Just as I stand here right now, I have close to 100 different police officers out on the street right now. Out of those 100 different police officers, I have 10 different agencies represented from different counties, different municipalities, state agencies, all right now working to beat to keep this city safe. Of course, to our elected officials and city leadership, I truly say thank you for your continued trust and support for the Beach Police. Everything I've asked for, you've given, all the support, all the resources, and it makes our job a little bit easier that we don't have to have this back and forth like a lot of other different cities have. It's it's a true testament to our, to our ability to work together to keep our city safe. And lastly, to the members of the beach police, this young rookie officer over here, our admin staff, our communication team, and our beat cops out there right now working the street. You're killing it. You're doing an amazing job. Every day you come to work motivated, not one complaint, ladies and gentlemen, for your police department. Not one gripe, not one issue. They show up to work every single day. All right, they're in this very, I would say, critical time, motivated to keep the city safe and uphold their oath. So I'm proud to be their chief. So in regards to spring break in general, yes, it's been a challenging one. We have good spring breaks, we have bad spring breaks, and this one has definitely been challenging in a lot of different circumstances. But we have definitely held the line in regards to what we have been dealt and what we have been able to do with the resources and our officers and supporting staff that we have. To address some concerns, right off the bat, let's talk about Pier Park. We do have walking beats out. There's people walking up and down the road as we speak currently right now. We have a mobile command bus out there. We have obviously video surveillance. We have communication between the security and our officers there, actively coordinating how to keep that area safe. It was a very serious incident that occurred, but like I said that night, and I will continue to say it here today, we arrested some of the individuals that were involved in that. We are generating warrants for more of those individuals, and we're going to bring them back to Bay County for them to be held accountable for that ridiculous act that happened at Pier Park that night. The other shooting incidents, all of our major cases that everybody has heard about and has seen on news have been closed with an arrest, and we are continuing to investigate to arrest more individuals, that whether they were accomplices, associates, anybody who was involved in those scenarios, we are going to go pick them up and bring them back over here so they could answer for their crimes. Just because spring break is over does not mean the enforcement of spring break stops. We continue to actively investigate all these cases until everybody that is responsible is held accountable. As far as regards to putting another event or venue in place of spring break, we could figure it out. I'm all for it. Fleet Week, Panama City Beach. I'm not going to say that being a part of Fleet Week in the Marines that there not going to be a little bit of chaos out there, but I would like to see a lot of white and tan uniforms out there instead of some of the other visitors that we are seeing currently right now. As far as our continued enforcement, look, we have this weekend to get through for the majority of high school spring break, and we have challenges out there we're facing right now with crowds and teenagers that have just not understood that there is consequence to their actions, and if we have to teach them that, then so well. I mean, we're going to do it. I would like to answer any other questions, concerns regarding spring break.
I don't have any questions, but I'd just like to thank you, Chief, and everyone with the police department for doing such a job that you're doing. I know that, there were officers galore at Pier Park. There have been and will continue to be. And everyone's just doing a heck of a job and sacrificing a lot of their time to do it.
I'd just like to echo what Vice Mayor Jarman said. Thank you, Chief, to you and your staff very much.
Thanks, sir.
The police officers, we know the mandatory overtime is tough. We know it's tough. And we know you're tough. We know you're the kind of people that run toward gunfire instead of running away from it, like happened with those shooters. We know that our police department is constantly adapting to the security challenges that are present today, adding new security measures within, how long was that, Mr. Whitman? A few days?
A few days, yeah.
Yeah, getting a brand new secure zone around Pier Park. Never been done before, within a few days. Thank you, Chief, for really your leadership in the force, and to the people on the beat, people in Pier Park, in the neighborhoods. You guys have done an amazing job, an absolute amazing job. And we couldn't have done it, and you guys couldn't have done it, we couldn't have done it without the support of the community for law and order. All the food, all the thank yous, that really goes a long way. So we thank the community. We especially thank the officers. We thank you, Chief, for doing everything possible to keep this community safe. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay. All right, Mr. Whitman, are there other ones?
There's just a couple. I want to thank Colleen right off the bat. She's always worked with us since 2015 and 16. She's always supported us and tried to help it make it better for the community with her business, so thank you for that. In reference to Scott's question, anyone in the state of Florida that's on the council or commission or any board that's appointed by the council, we're all subject to the sunshine laws.
Since we're on Mr. Howman's point, can we outline how much documentation we've gotten to Mr. Howman about this water redundancy project over the last several months?
We've received a lot of information from him.
No,
Just to clarify, it's not the water redundancy.
I'm sorry, the water meter project?
Yeah, the water meter stuff.
Yeah, we've shared extensive information. And Mr. Davis, if you could again outline how the bidding process worked?
Oh, certainly. So on the AMI, the automatic meter reader system, there was an RFP that was issued. That was, that was out on the street for 30 days, so anyone could bid on it. We accepted sealed bids. Anytime we do this, there's a sealed bid that's submitted. We don't open it. We don't know what it is until we open them all at the same time. Those openings are public. They're open to the public. We only had one bid. The utilities director looked at a prior bid that had gone on in Fort Walton Beach, where there were 7 responses instead of our 1 response, and determined that that bid was actually competitive based on the pricing that was given to Fort Walton Beach. And so this council approved that bid, and since then we have been negotiating the contract that will one day, at some point, come to you for your approval. And we can talk about it again then. I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay. Anything to add, Mr. Whitman?
Nothing for Scott, but I will get up with Molly and explain the water redundancy system to her. I'll give her a call.
Okay. And this one on the, this is ratifying a grant agreement for this water redundancy on the consent.
On the consent, yeah.
Yeah. So this is receiving money for water redundancy to make sure we have extra water to protect in case there's a bridge outage or something like that. So it's water coming in from the bridges, make sure we have extra water availability for that. Okay, let's see. I will also echo Ms. Chapman, thank you so much for your efforts to educate. I'm sure there are constant efforts to educate. Thank you for the new maps. I've seen fewer on, certainly on Back Beach, but also on Middle Beach.
There is
Colleen, we can chat. We can chat afterwards. Yeah, and we can work on it. We can work on it, but we can chat afterwards. Ms. Law, Karen, ma'am, ma'am.
Yes.
We are doing everything. We are doing absolutely everything to keep the families who live here, the people who visit here, the people who work here, to keep this beach safe.
I would like to see.
Ma'am, and we can talk about it afterwards, okay? All right. Mr. Steinkircher, thank you. Thank you for your suggestions. Thank you for your constant advocacy for both the military and public safety. That's it. Anything else? All right. So now we move on to the regular agenda. Nope, I'm sorry. We got to do we actually have to vote on this thing. Now we have to vote on the consent agenda. If I could get a motion?
Nope. Got to read it.
What?
I'll read it into the.
She's got to read it. Oh, my goodness, I got so busy. Okay. Please,
Resolution.
help.
Resolution 2591, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, related to the annual Visit Panama City Beach Ironman 70.3 Gulf Coast event, consenting to the temporary closure of portions of Hutchinson Boulevard and Panama City Beach Parkway on Saturday, May 10, 2025, for the event, as more particularly set forth in the body of the resolution. Resolution 2597, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving and ratifying a grant agreement with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Utilities Department for Phase 1 of the Water Redundancy Project, and number 3, revision of the master audit list to remove obsolete items.
Okay, now we can get it.
There we go. Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Pizzoni?
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Now, I was just so excited about this special item. Now, on to special agenda item. The first one we've added, Resolution 2599. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving a budget amendment to fund additional spring break public safety mutual aid services.
Okay. I will take public comment on this item. Copies of it are available in the back. Whenever, we don't like walking on budget items. Sometimes we have to. There's a process for that. You saw us amend the budget or amend the agenda here, and they're available in the back should you want to review it. If there's any public comment on this item, I'll take it now. This is on this agenda item. Okay? Chief, could you help us? Seeing none, Chief, could you help us understand this item?
Yes, sir. So every year, we budget for mutual aid, and every year it increases because we anticipate just a draw and a need of additional resources and officers from surrounding agencies. We asked for help this year, and our local law enforcement around the area answered the call. Like I said, everybody knows we have faced some challenges. We're going to need some additional funds to continue the aggressive police approach that we have to keep the number of officers that we have been currently deploying in place for this week, as well as potentially, upping our police presence for the special events we have coming in the future as well as the summer. So this additional funds will help us do that.
Okay. Questions or comments from the council? We've had a challenging security period, and we responded. And this budget amendment, it's expensive. These responses are expensive. And this is part of this council's commitment to public safety. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now on to regular item 1, which is the quasi-judicial hearing.
No, there's nothing for me to read. You just
Okay, all right. This is a hearing to consider approval of a partial replat of Sand Street Villas, Section 100700 of the city's Land Development Code. This is a quasi-judicial hearing governed by the city's Land Development Code. This hearing is simply to determine that the proposed replat has been approved by staff and meets the requirements of law. We will now begin the hearing. Will all persons wishing to speak during this hearing please rise to be sworn in? And if you wish to speak. Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay. Next up, Mr. Leonard. Were the notice requirements met for this hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Leonard. At this time, we will ask each council member to make their Jennings disclosure. Councilman Castro? Or?
I haven't talked with anybody about this other than city staff, and I know where the property's at.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Nothing to disclose.
Okay. Councilmember Coburn?
I did speak with some ladies in the back of the room tonight before the meeting about this.
Okay.
Nothing to disclose.
Yeah. I also spoke with those ladies, but it's not a Jennings disclosure, so nothing to disclose. Okay. At this time, we will hear staff's report. Mr. Leonard, glad you sat nearby.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The proposed replat is located within the city limits. It's consistent with the Land Development Code and also the Comprehensive Plan.
Okay. That's good. Thank you, Mr. Leonard. At this time, we will hear from the applicant.
I don't really have anything to add. I don't know if you guys have any
Could you
questions.
state your
for me.
name, please?
Jeremy Bone.
Okay, Jeremy, thank you.
Any questions?
Have any questions?
Thank you.
No questions on it? Okay. Now, we will hear from any affected parties. That's anyone who lives within 200 feet. There will also be time for a public comment if you don't live within 200 feet. So any affected party who wishes to speak, please come up, state your name and address for the record. Any affected party. So that's anyone within 200 feet. Okay. That's fine. So no affected, seeing none. At this time, we will take public comment. Any public comment?
Bless you. Bless you, sir.
And Mr. Davis, do we have to state the address for public comment or just the name?
Name and address, please.
Name and address for public comment, okay.
Beverly Harrison, 303 Sands. I don't know how many feet I am from the project. I was just really trying to figure out why they need to replat it, because won't that make a difference in the precedence for anything else that happens in the neighborhood? I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, okay,
So, what?
so,
Is it
Ms.
going to be
Harrison,
a
the way-
2 stories? Because
Yeah. Ms. Har-
everything's a 2-story that he's developed before, and he's
Yeah,
done a
and
good job.
please address me or the council,
Oh,
yeah.
and they done a good job.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about the job they do. They build good houses.
Yeah.
It's just, are they gonna be 3 stories in 4 stories? Or is it gonna set a precedent for other properties that they develop?
Yeah.
That's gonna be 5
Yeah.
stories? You see what I'm saying? That's my concern. I mean, and I mean, I've had that house for 23 years. Finally get it paid off, and now, things are changing. So that's my comment.
Okay.
It disturbs me to think that each by each, a little parcel gets changed, and then it sets the whole precedent. And all of us, in these little houses all along here, are just, what do we do? I mean, we're just, parking is horrendous already from all these rentals.
Okay.
So, but that's my main thing. I'm just hoping that, that they're not gonna build anything 3 and 4 stories. I don't know, But I thought the 2 stories they were doing were nice. I don't know if they're changing that or what. Nobody's really told me.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
I
Ms.
guess
Harrison.
that's it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Harrison. And just to help everyone understand the process, comments come, there's an order. You speak to us, we go through everyone speaking to us, and then there will be a response later on. It's not like a back and forth. And
Okay.
yeah, some
I've
fairly
I've
regular
never
attendees of these
publicly
meetings have
spoke
trouble with that.
before. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Welcome
This is
to the
my first
party.
time.
Yeah, all right.
It's
yeah.
scary.
You did
Yeah.
great.
You did great. Thank you, Ms. Harrison.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Mrs. Susan Fansler. I reside own my house at 301 Sand Street, Panama City Beach. And concerned about the villas, if they're going to be 5-bedroom homes, how many parking spots are they going to have for a 5-bedroom home allotted to per villa? In the 4 villas that they propose to put in on Sand Street. Most times when you get a lot of villas or parking people with the bedrooms, how many people are going to be and sleeping in a bedroom? Don't we have something on the town that says we have to have a parking lot for each bedroom in the set area for the proposed house or villa that they're gonna do. So, is the villa gonna be bigger than a house? A single-family home, or taller? I've been to City Hall, they have said nothing yet what's going on, whether or not it's gonna be 2-story, 3 stories, or more. We don't know. As my neighbor Beverly said, is this gonna take precedence over the neighborhood? You know, and other people doing the same thing, which will kill our community. Because I've been calling the police on the rentals behind me because of noise pollution at 11:30, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock at night, because they think they're renting on a private island. So that's my concern. Is there going to be enough parking, and how many stories are these villas going to be? Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
And I love Panama City Beach. That's why I'm here 25 years. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vansler. Okay. Further public comment? Any further public comment? No? Okay. At this time, we will hear, seeing none, at this time, we will hear any rebuttal by staff. No? Any affected party? Or the applicant? Okay.
So I just wanted to address some of the concerns about the size of the homes. We already have one that is actually been framed. They're all 2-story homes.
Yeah.
We have parking under the homes for 4 vehicles with spaces for 2 more in the driveway, off-street parking. Additionally, there are parking requirements which we have fulfilled with overflow parking spaces for the 4 homes that we're building there. So our goal is to keep the neighborhood nice, keep the cars off the street, and continue with the construction that we've already done in the area. So it'll be very much along the lines of what's existing in the neighborhood.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we will close the evidentiary portion of the hearing. This time, we will hear closing arguments by staff, then the applicant. Anything from staff? Nothing? Okay. Anything to add from the applicant? Okay.
Mayor, and I would just ask that the agenda packet for this item be included in the record of this hearing.
Is council in approval of including the agenda? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. At this point, the hearing is closed. We'll move on to council discussion. Yeah.
I was just going to say, if Mr. Davis can just clarify the, what we're doing in regards to plat versus zoning restrictions.
Certainly. So plats this is simply to certify that they have redrawn the lines of the lots that they have redrawn. If you review the plat, there are 4 lots already platted. They are not adding any more lots. They are simply shifting some of the borders of those lots based on the stormwater facilities they've done. This does not allow them to do anything different than what they were already allowed to do. They're still going to have to develop consistent with your land development code. This is not the time in which we know what they're doing. This is simply to determine that they have met your requirements and the state law requirements to change the lines of the lots.
Okay, so they did some stormwater work, and they have to shift some lines. They're not adding anything new with this?
From what I can tell. I mean, I'd probably defer to the city engineer about that, but from what I can look at.
Yeah, why, if you could come up, Mr. Rothwell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, help us understand this plan.
Yes, sir. With this particular plat, it is, the lots are being consolidated, and then the lot lines are being drawn up so that they could have 4 lots for 4 homes, And each of those homes will discharge to a stormwater facility that's been reviewed by staff and meets all of our land development code requirements for stormwater, the 100-year storm event. And then they also have a smaller lot for overflow parking.
Okay, so there's a consolidation of lots rather than,
Yes, sir. It consolidated them and then kind of redrew them.
okay. So the same number of lots, just got moved around?
I think that originally there were 2 larger lots that were there that were consolidated
Yeah.
to be about a total of .872 acres combined.
Mhm.
And then they were broken up from the original plat.
Okay. Okay. Any further questions?
No question.
What? No questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, we're only talking about
We're only talking about
approving
this, yes.
property lines.
We're talking about approving property lines. Thank you,
sir.
And Mr. Davis or Mr. Leonard, there's a few concerns about precedent here. Can you speak to whether this is setting a precedent or really what we're approving here, what this hearing is about?
You're simply approving the subdivision of land.
Yeah.
So anyone who owns land can subdivide their land in accordance with the laws of the state and the laws of our city.
Yeah.
The applicant has submitted an application to subdivide land that they own in a different way than it is currently platted. And the city's job is to make sure that they are doing so in a way that conforms with state law and our own code.
Okay.
And we're here to tell you that they have done that.
Okay.
That doesn't, when they actually go to build anything, that is not the process today. That is an entirely different process that will be handled consistent with our code.
Yeah. So this is
only applicable to the lots that we are talking about today.
These are only the lots. They've abided by the code and state statute.
Yes, sir.
That's what we're here to judge in this quasi-judicial, those 2 facts. Did they abide by the code? Did they abide by state statutes?
Yes, sir.
For this redrawing, not for what's going to be built on there, that's zoning.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any comments or questions on this?
I think it's incredibly kind of them to talk about what they are building, because it's definitely not required. I live in a neighborhood where they've developed many houses, they build a quality product. That gentleman in the middle is raising his family here, so nobody's got more skin in the game than that gentleman right there. I know he builds a quality home, so he's raising his family here, and he wants what's best for Panama City Beach, so I'd like to make a motion to approve this.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Fazzoni?
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'll also, you didn't have to tell us what's being built there. And we do appreciate that. And for the members of the public in the back, happy to talk about what's going on in your neighborhood. We understand you really care. You have our card, we'll talk, okay? All right, thank you. Okay. You want to take a break? Okay, let's do a 5-minute recess. Sure. Is everyone good with that? Okay, we will be back here, let's just say at 7:20.
You okay?
I just drank too much water.
7:20. Re-adjourn at 7:20.
7.
Okay. Everyone's seated. Let's go back to the meeting. Thank you, everyone. Now, we move on to regular agenda item number 2, Resolution 2592. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with Roberts & Roberts, Inc. for the construction of the Richard Jackson Boulevard Intersection Improvements Phase 2 project in the amount of $695,000 and authorizing the execution of qualifying change orders up to $69,500.
Okay. We will now accept public comment for this item. Is there any public comment for this agenda item? Seeing none, Mr. Adair, would you help us understand this item?
Good evening, John Adair, Public Works. So this is the construction agreement with Roberts & Roberts for the Richard Jackson intersection improvements. Here's a graphic representation of what the new intersection and roundabout will look like. If you're looking north is to your right, so Publix is to the east, Home Depot's to the west. This traffic pattern should help alleviate. I don't know if a lot of you guys are probably trying to get out of Publix, trying to make that left-hand turn there. This should definitely help out with that traffic congestion. We put it out to bid. We received 3 bids. Roberts & Roberts was the low bidder. You can see, based upon our engineer's opinion of probable costs, I think we got a really good price for the job. So I was really, really pleased when we opened these up. At last meeting, we talked about potentially extending the construction timeline to see if we can build it later in the year. I had mentioned at the time that we had a grant agreement with this project. The grant agreement, just following up on that conversation from last meeting, the grant agreement expires in October 31st of this year. If you look at the construction timeline, if we approve it today, give the notice to proceed, they have 120 days to complete the project. That pushes them into August. With the closeout, trying to get all of the reimbursements from DOT, so on and so forth, it's going to be a tight timeline just to get it done by October, especially if rain delays, things happen during the summer. So I would also like to mention that the new fiscal year is coming out with DOT in July, and there's federal funding attached to this job. So there's been a recent kind of pause on a lot of funding. I would hate to see us lose our funding or anything like that. So my recommendation would be to proceed with the project as scheduled. We also talked to the contractor and the CEI, the proposed CEI for this job, about their thoughts and they concurred for a lot of the same reasons. In fact, the contractor's main concern was, like Drew mentioned last time, the construction during the school year. In fact, we're going to work on other things, before the end of the school year, relocate light poles, things like that. Try not to disrupt traffic until after school is out, and then we will commence with the major part of the construction. With that, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I talked with the assistant city manager and city manager yesterday about this, and they convinced me that it was probably best to move forward with it. I don't want to jeopardize losing the funding. I just was thinking maybe this may be a project we could do in the off-season, but if we have a deadline on it, I guess we need to move forward with it.
I would agree.
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to explore options to try and. We know we're all under construction, and it'll be good when it's done. It'll be good when it's done. Will this make it easier to turn out of Publix?
I sure hope so.
Okay.
Make it a lot safer for everybody.
Absolutely.
I think we're getting really close on Moylan and that back entrance being finished as well, where people can go out the backside of Breakfast Point where the new emergency room is. So it gives another option as well that's coming really soon, I think. So it looks like they're making a lot of progress with that. I'll follow up with those guys and see where we're at and see if those guys can have an extra exit while this is going on as well.
Okay. Yeah, good point. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna make it a lot safer for Breakfast Point.
Great project, great price.
Yeah, I thought it was a great price.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
And I think it's really important, and I was actually hit there, the
bless.
third month that we lived here, trying to get out of Publix, so,
It can get rough.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not the greatest intersection. Hopefully this will fix it.
All right.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Adair. for that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Ms. Vizzoni?
Vice Mayor Sherman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tedmer.
Yes, ma'am. Next up, Agenda Item 3, Resolution 2596. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with GAI Consultants, Inc. for construction, engineering, and inspection services for the Richard Jackson Boulevard Intersection Improvement Phase 2 project in an amount not to exceed $124,116.31.
Okay, we will now accept public comment for this item. Any public comment for this item? Seeing none. Mr. Adair, hope you didn't go too far.
John Adair, Public Works. So last meeting, I brought the, agenda item to negotiate with the top-ranking firm. We have done that. We have come back to you with a price for that. It has gone through and received DOT's approval, DOT sign-off. They looked at the methodology, all of the rates, hours, things like that. It all meets with their approval, it meets with our approval, so I recommend moving forward with the contract.
Okay. Questions from the council for Mr. Adair?
Motion to approve.
Thank you,
Second.
Mr. Adair. Ms. Vizzoni?
Vice Mayor Jarman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tedmer.
Yes, ma'am. We move on to Agenda Item 4, Resolution 2598. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with Beyond the Sea Realty LLC for the purchase of property located at 17171 Forenzo Avenue, 200 Arnold Road, and 204 Arnold Road in the amount of $2 million plus estimated closing cost of $30,000, and approving a budget amendment to fund this purchase.
Okay. We will accept any public comment on this item. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none. Ms. White, you get to see if your microphone works.
Yeah, see if I can talk.
Okay.
So yes, in the fall of 2023, the council approved a lease with Beyond the Sea Realty for the 3 parcels that Cole mentioned. They are the ones that are adjacent to City Hall, across from, if you were looking at Drew's office, across the street on Forenzo. And then as part of that lease agreement, there was a right of first refusal that was, the city had with a fixed purchase price of $2 million. And so at the end of the lease term, it was our intention to purchase that property, but as part of that lease, if the owner desired to sell it sooner than that, we had the first right for that purchase. And he reached out to us several weeks ago indicating that he had a desire to sell, and we want to bring a recommendation to you that we go ahead and purchase that now. We'll save about 18 years' worth of rental payments on the property, which is about $1.5 million, and we had about $800,000 already set aside for the purchase, so the balance will come out of reserves.
Okay. And if we had improved the property at all beforehand, we'd be improving someone else's property without the purchase.
That's correct.
Yep. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Motion to approve.
Want to thank Ms. White, though, for her legwork on this. I think she was very instrumental in getting this done, so thank you very much and,
Yeah.
for working this out. I think any time we can add land with the way our city's growing and the experience that we see and the robust growth that we're having, we need to be able to acquire pieces like that. And her and Mr. Whitman were both very instrumental in being able to acquire something that's connected to our property here, and I think that's a great asset and great add for the city. Thank you for that.
Not going to get any cheaper.
Yeah.
I agree with Councilman Register, and I'll second his motion to
Yeah.
approve this.
And I will just say, it would be nice to have some additional parking for the public for these meetings, because we got a whole bunch of white trucks out there, not as much parking for the public.
Soon.
All right.
Happen soon.
All right. We got a motion and a second. Ms. Vizzoni?
Vice Mayor German.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tenmer.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Moving on to the last item, discussion item. We will not be taking public comment on this item because it is a ministerial action. Appointment to vacant planning board seat. I believe we have by resolution that we do ballots on this, or can we decide?
It's at the discretion of the chair.
It's at discretion? Okay, so, yeah. I will just say, I talked to both candidates. Mr. Thomas has a good history with the city, obviously. He has an understanding and a willingness to serve, and he indicated he was, I don't know if he'll agree with, or, he said he'd be willing to read the entire LDC, so should he be chosen to serve, Mr. Register, or Councilman Register is.
Not an easy task.
Understands that commitment. I recommended I submitted Mr. Charleston. He collaborates extremely well with staff. I believe he has a dog-eared copy of the LDC. He's kept up to date. He's attended and advocated issues on the planning board, including around short-term rentals, which, as we saw today, is a very hot topic. He has good military experience with installation and facilities planning. So that's in part why I nominated him. I think we have two very good candidates here. If we want to since we have two, if we just want to do a motion and then.
Did Anthony drop out?
Anthony dropped out today.
Late email today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I also talked to Mr. Angelo before he had dropped out. And Anthony's, obviously been involved with this council. He has a willingness to serve. I'm not going to reveal. He has a growing family. I think is the way I'll express it. He has a growing family, and his priority is his growing family.
Yeah.
So
I respect that a lot, and
Yeah.
thank you for, it's a tough place just to even put your name in the hat, right? So,
Yeah.
Good for him for doing that in the first place, and there'll be future opportunities, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Thomas reached out to me. I was more than happy to put his name in the hat. He's been, a resident here for quite some time, knows the city. He's put in some work in learning, looking at and learning the LDC and the planning board. He has kids as well, but that's one of the things that I kind of like about putting somebody on a planning board, is that a lot of times, in what I do, and I'm sure others, you always look at how will this affect, my kids living here? And how can I make it a better place for the younger generation that's following us? So that's why, I was more than happy to put his name in the hat.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I actually put his name in the hat as well, I guess. All he turned out, I don't know if that showed up on the paperwork or not, but I submitted an email to Ms. Lynn as well. Mr. Charleston, thank you for your military service. I mean, that's an incredible resume. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's something that I admire, and the only differentiating factors for me is there's very far between Panama City Beach lifelong residents. So one of the differentiating factors for me and wanting Mr. Thomas to serve on this position is we need some representation on the west end of the beach. He lives out near Lullwater. We've got some people from Tapestry Park, Colony Club, Breakfast Point, all on the planning board. We have nobody on that side of Highway 79. So that was a differentiating factor for me. These seats come available all the time. There's other opportunities. Impressive resume. But that's where I'm at with wanting to have Mr. Thomas on there. He's have to make payroll in Panama City Beach. I think he's got some skin in the game. He's got a kid that goes to Hutchinson Beach Elementary, where my children go, and I think raising your family here, you want what's best for the city where you're raising your kids, and I think he plans to be here for a very, very long time, obviously. So.
Okay. Any further comments, or can we get a motion?
I have a motion for Mr. Thomas.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Ms. Fazzoni?
Vice Mayor Jarman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
No.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now we'll move on to the city manager report.
No report tonight.
Okay. City Attorney?
No report.
Okay. Council comments?
Hearts and minds with every.
Yeah, council comments, Mr.
Nothing for me, Mayor.
Casso?
We got some, Mr. Drawson, hopefully you take this back to your community in the Glades. I've been working with DOT, and I got a good friend with the DOT, and phase 3 of the widening of Back Beach Road, that light, when it goes out to bid with the DOT, will be added at Dublin Winery as a temporary light at first, but that'll be the first thing when they get under construction that they do. They're putting that in there, so that's an exciting thing for me to be able to add extra exit for you guys to keep you guys safe. That's a beloved neighborhood, and same thing with the Breakfast Point residents. So if you bring that back to them, and then during construction, it'll be one of their first priorities to make that a permanent intersection, and really, really well done intersection. But it's going to be temporary right off the bat when they start construction for that. So thank you, and hopefully that's some good news for your community.
Okay. Councilmember Coburn?
Nothing, thank you.
I'd just like to thank Mr. Trosson for putting name in the hat on this, and I'm sure we're going to have something else come up in the future. And thank you for your service.
Yeah. Very, very impressive. I've enjoyed our conversations. These come up all the time. And I will just say, to conclude, to the Lord, we ask for grace and stamina for our public safety staff. Please protect them and guide them. We also ask that you watch over all Panama City Beach residents, visitors, business operators, public safety, mutual aid, everyone who is here for labor, leisure, and love of the beach. Next meeting is Thursday, April 24th at 9 a.m. This meeting is adjourned.